we're in agriculture, and we serve farmers with seed. We believe innovation in the seed is what we are all about. We think that for innovation to be impactful, it really needs to be low cost. It needs to be something that will make a big impact, or make an impact on the farmer's life. It will deliver what it needs to deliver. So we take that very seriously. Our whole organization is anchored around breeding, make the best varieties possible, and then put the software in them of biotech to make them most adaptive, to make them most impactful for the farmer. So technology and innovation in the seed is something that we think can make huge impact. We've seen it in the US, China, in India, even here in Africa. And we feel that it's one of the things that can, because it's in a seed and farmers know how to plant a seed, whether it's using a big tractor or using a hoe, it's a great leveler in that you do not need to be a wealthy farmer to be able to use this technology and transform your life, whether it's a 1 acre plot or a 1,000 acre farm. But we recognize that technology in itself also has its limitations. And it must be in a context, which is quite a complex one, because you need to have the right approach. Not everybody living on the land is a farmer, wants to be a farmer, is interested in being a farmer, is capable of being a farmer. So you really need to target it where it's most effective and impactful. If the farmer doesn't have a market, it's useless because he has no incentive to uptake the technology. He can't sell it for various reasons. It could be infrastructure or just lack of markets. So the whole issue of creating an enabling environment, the politics around that, policies around that are very important. And also, a seed is only fulfills its potential if it has the fertilizer and the irrigation and the pest control that goes with it. So you must have a partnership. One company, quick fix solution, bullet solutions don't work. You must have, that's why development is complex, I guess. You must have the right partnerships, you must have the right enabling environments, you must have the right incentives, that there's a market that exists, and you must target it appropriately so that it's not a one-fits-all. A farmer in South Africa, we deliver to his farm 25 kilogram packets, and we deliver 100 of them. A Kenyan farmer or a Ugandan farmer will deliver, he'll be able to buy from a local stockist even 100 seeds of tomato. Have to package it appropriately that he can afford and therefore have impact. So what we are doing with regards to, we also believe that some technologies are real step changers, and we think biotech is a real step changer. If you look at cotton, for instance, today almost 50% of the world's cotton is biotech. It's GM. In 1996 was the first biotech crop was made. Today, 2009, half the world's cotton is GM. Why? Because it's able to reduce the farmer's costs in controlling the bollworm, which is his biggest input cost. Instead of spraying 8 times, he sprays just 2 times for other insects. So insect control is good. Weed control, they say 40% of average yields in Africa are lost to weeds, moisture, nutrient, lost to weeds. And weed control is something that we've developed products that help control weed. But in Latin America and North America, they're using it, parts of China, India. Africa, not so much. The question is if, in fact, apart from South Africa, no way. If we could be able to have better weed control, especially now that climate change is a big issue, and people could more effectively and efficiently take care of their weeds instead of spending a month weeding, at 3 different intervals, rather spend 6 hours spraying on a knapsack. What would that do for time, for productivity, for even less exposure to pesticides, for soil moisture, and for the yield of the crop? So these are exciting, but these are pretty rudimentary. I think we're right at the beginning of where biotech is, where the transistor is compared to the chip today. And we're looking at things like drought tolerance. And we're working to develop drought-tolerant crops In 2 years from now, we'll be launching in the US. They've passed most of the regulatory hurdles. We've seen in the US setting about a 10% increase in yield in those areas that face drought in the US. We estimate that will translate to about 24 to 35% increase in yield in Africa in maize, because farmers in Africa do not grow in optimal conditions of soil fertility and weed control, so they'll see a bigger jump in their productivity. Now we recognize that the best way to have this technology widely adapted and used in Africa is to work in a consortia. So we have a wide consortia where Monsanto is working together with the AATF, which is the African Agricultural Technology Foundation, and the National Agricultural Research Services of 5 countries, South Africa, Kenya, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Uganda, where it will be in this drought, and CIMIT, who are just in this building, to really get the national, Monsanto develops the biotech and does some breeding, some of the breeding, CIMIT does the breeding, the national agricultural agencies do the testing within their countries, and we put the germplasm in the gene in the right varieties. We think that this kind of broad approach, hopefully in 4 to 5 years after the launch of 2012, commercial launch, that we will have it widely available to farmers in Africa. And if you can have, with climate doing what it's doing, more variable, less of it, during those critical periods when a maize cob is flowering, when a maize cob is grain filling, it will build resilience and therefore increase food availability. So this is something we're quite excited about. We think this is the way forward, not just for drought, but there are other companies that are talking about doing similar consortia with regards to more efficient fertilizer using plants. You can make nutrient utilization more efficient. We think this is the way forward. So I say you've got to have partnerships, and one of the partnerships is what can big multinationals that have these enabling technologies do together, working with local, because local seed companies will be involved. Because at the end of the day, the farmer's choice must not be undermined. We believe that if this drought tolerance ability is in wide variety of germplasms produced by a wide number of companies, that is best for the farmer. Because farmers like different types of corn for different reasons. Could be taste, could be just what they're used to, could be more adapted to the environment. So choice is important, therefore partnerships are a prerequisite. And I guess my concluding remarks would be 5 things that are important, we think. Recognition that it's complex. 2, that partnerships are key. 3, that the environment, the whole economic environment is very important. 4, that we need to target. And that 5, you can't have step-changing technologies. And if you can find ways to bring these technologies to the local setting that is low cost, that is impactful, then you can help make a difference. So, thank you.
Thanks so much, Kinya, for the insight.